If you enjoy the content on this channel and would like to help me out with the production of more content for this channel, then please consider supporting me on Patreon, link in the description down below. Hello everybody, this is SeetherCord and welcome to another installment of my furry review / analysis series here on YouTube. For today's episode of Furry Review / Analysis, we are going to be looking at another video entitled I Hate Furries, but not by Mr. Epsilon. It is by a YouTuber known as I Hate Everything. Maybe there's a chance that Mr. Epsilon ripped off I Hate Everything's title. Possibly. I don't know, Mr. Epsilon's channel is pretty much dead at this point anyway. Before we get into what this video is about today, let's talk about the YouTuber known as I Hate Everything. I Hate Everything is honestly one of my favorite YouTubers. I feel like I Hate Everything is one of the best examples of YouTube channels that focus more on quality over quantity for their videos. The reason why I say this is there are periods where he does not upload because he's working on a video so much because he wants to make sure it's good enough of quality standards to not only himself but to also to have respect to his fans, that he's not just going to crank something out just to get a video in on time. And I really respect that of him, and I do feel like his editing skills are great. I love his Search for the Worst series. I find those to be my favorite type of videos from him. And I also love his I Hate series, which is also a pretty fun ride to do as well. And he is definitely one of my favorite YouTubers, and I always get a kick out of his videos. But to be fair, this video we are going to be looking at is from back when he first did YouTube, and a lot of people do notice, and he himself also acknowledges as well, that his earlier videos are a lot different from the videos he makes now. He does act a little bit more different, and I can't really put it into words personally, but I can tell. And if you watch his older videos compared to his newer videos, you can tell the difference. The best way I could put it is that in his older videos, like he's going to be doing in this one, is he talks about things he hates in a more of a smaller scale. In his newer videos, he tends to focus on making his videos on more grander scale of things and not just like small little topics to talk about, which is fine if he wants to do it that way. But this video we're going to be watching called I Hate Furries represents him talking about why he does not like the furry fandom. Now, to give a little backstory on this video called I Hate Furries by I Hate Everything, back when it first came out, there was a very decent amount of dislikes on the video. About 1/3 of the ratings was dislikes, and it had a really bad response back when it came out. But as the years go by, it's been about 4 years now since this video came out, it's gotten now 45,000 likes and only 6,000 dislikes, so it caught back up to where it's in good standing now. And he also made 2 comment comeback videos where he addresses the comment section on this video, but we're not going to be looking at that today. We're just going to be looking at his main video focusing on the whole topic, so we're just going to look at that now today. So now with that all out of the way, we're now going to get started with I Hate Furries by I Hate Everything.
Furries. Christ. So what in God's name is a furry? Well, apparently there is not any description that is set in stone, but the idea of a furry is simply someone who finds the depiction of anthropomorphic animals fascinating. Now, as usual, the people who represent furries on the internet are usually a very loud minority, so for the most part I'll focus on the very most extreme examples of this strange and quite frankly confusing fandom.
Okay, good start off to the video. He does address furries in the right way, being it's having a fascination with anthropomorphic animals. He doesn't assume that it's all just sexualized at first. He doesn't hint that at all. I like how he addresses it just as like people have an interest in anthropomorphic animals. Good job. Now, I do like that how he addresses that. I do feel like a lot of furries will give him some hate on that, saying like, oh, we're not that loud. I do agree with him on that. There are quite a few loudly spoken people within the fandom that kind of represent us bad because, you know, we're really awkward. A lot of us are, including myself. But still, I do agree with him how we do kind of make a bad rep for ourselves by those certain people who don't know when to not overly put themselves on people with their furriness. Like, oh, look at me, I'm a furry. I'm such a furry. Let's yiff on the bed. Things like that. And why the fuck did I say that? I'm going to regret. I'm going to cut that out. Not really.
Furries are another bizarre and unexplainable creation of the internet, and whether you like it or not, they don't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. In fact, it's quite the opposite, with the popularity of shows like My Little Pony helping to boost people into discovering their outlandish hobby.
I've never really heard anybody address that how the brony fandom can really help kickstart a lot of other fandoms that are more on the not socially acceptable side. So I don't know if like maybe I can see that in theory, like how maybe My Little Pony getting popular with bronies helped encourage furries to be more open, but furries have been around a lot longer, and I feel like maybe they would have been open a lot more. I don't really know. It requires a lot more digging and more video proof evidence or like history to like really see that. I don't really know, but we're going to continue now.
So what does a typical furry do? Well, It all starts with your fursona. Yes, it is literally the stupidest name for anything ever, I know. Some furries like to meet up with other furries and do, furry things. I don't actually know what they do specifically at these meetups, but I'm not going to research it because I don't want it in my search history.
Now, I know a lot of people might be thinking like I Hate Everything as being kind of harsh on him and kind of sounding like kind of jerkish, but that's just how his way of expressing himself in his videos are, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I do appreciate, even though he does seems like he's joking around making fun of us, I do like, however, how he's not assuming sexual stuff in the beginning. He's kind of like putting it out like, yeah, this is how people are, and he's not being as mean as a lot of people might be thinking he is being. I'm really liking the video so far.
So the argument for being a furry is that it's all about creativity, freedom, and a sense of community, and I guess that's all well and good. But it still comes across as a weird sexual thing, and you can't help but feel like you want to shower after seeing some of these pictures of these meetups and things. I'm all for doing what you want to be happy. I've often said, hey, I don't care what you do on your weekends as long as you're not hurting anyone, but Christ, what the f*** am I supposed to say? These are grown people dressing up as animals and just generally doing things that are strange and not typically normal.
Now, it might sound crazy how I'm going to be saying it right here, but I do still kind of agree with I Hate Everything on this. But when it comes to certain furries saying that they're misunderstood or so by society, you gotta understand, it still is not really something that's socially acceptable, or it's not seen as something normal in society. And let me just say, even though if it's not normal, that doesn't make you a bad person. It's not saying that it's wrong to do those things. It's just that you shouldn't really feel like offended or shocked over the fact that people say that's bad. You should just like let it roll off your shoulder and have thick skin over it. You shouldn't let it bother you. You shouldn't let what other people say about it bother you. So you shouldn't say that you feel misunderstood. Because at the end of the day, it is something that you chose to do on your own end, and even though you're not harming people, you shouldn't let it bother you, even though you are doing stuff that is considered socially unacceptable.
So some of them feel as if they're misunderstood, but personally, I just feel like I have to disagree, and this is a tough one. You can be misunderstood if you're some kind of minority, because you have no real choice or say in the matter, and furries are certainly still a minority, but it's not until our very recent internet generation that furries have established their place in society. Are these people doing this just for the sake of being different? Have there always been furries, but they've just been hiding it or kept it to themselves for all these years? Are they somehow mentally broken? Or do they in fact truly feel exactly the way they describe? Well, I have no answers for you, and no one does. You can argue, insult, or speculate all you want. Truly empathizing or understanding this peculiar fandom from an outsider's perspective is next to impossible. And this is where the problem lies. There is no correct answer to if I should find furries some kind of strange abomination. People like to do weird shit, and damned if they should care if I think it's f***ed up.
I do really like how, even though he does have his own personal biases and kind of doesn't really like the whole furry concept in general, I do appreciate the fact that him saying like, even though I don't like this, even though I think this is weird, even though I think it's awkward or cringy, I respect the fact that I'm not in a position to where I fully understand it. I'm an outsider. And I do like that a lot. And I feel like he is leaving it up to more of the viewer or the furries themselves to really like, instead of like him giving his own answer and saying like, oh, it should be this way, it should be that way. It should be more like, you think for yourself of how to feel about it. I like videos that make you more so think for yourself instead of just someone saying basically like, it's this way, it's that way, I'll think for you.
It's all a weird personal opinion that ultimately doesn't matter. So while you can go get angry about furries, I'm going to rant about something that does matter, like politics or crappy Adam Sandler movies, because I can actually do something to affect those topics in some way. Oh wait. No, I can't. Not even in the slightest. What the f*** am I doing with my life?
Wow, that was a very dark self-realization ending right there. Adam Sandler movies really do suck. Fuck you, Jack and Jill.
$1.
$1 the winner.
Good luck to you.
But anyways, I really like this video in the end. I do like how IHE really doesn't try to give a final answer to it. He does make a lot of people think for themselves, and I do respect him for it. He does seem like a very intelligent guy, and he makes great content, and I ultimately do feel like his videos aren't more so him trying to guide people or trying to persuade people, more so just helping you think for yourselves and give like a different perspective on things. And overall, I would say this is a really, really, really good video. And since I really do like a lot of I Hate Everything's videos, I would definitely recommend subscribing to his content because he has honestly some of the best content I've seen of really popular YouTubers. And that's all for this episode of Furry Review / Analysis for today. Link in the description to both I Hate Everything's channel and video down below. If you enjoy my content and want to further help out my channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon, hitting that like button, turning on that notification bell, and subscribing all together. I've been SeetherCord, and I will see you guys next time. So, goodbye everyone!